Thanks for staying with us on What Now, everyone. President Bola Tinubu has joined the rest of the world and the people of the United States to mourn the death of civil rights icon Jesse Jackson, who died at 84. President Tinubu mentioned that Reverend Jackson promoted civil liberties and advanced the cause of democracy and good governance in Nigeria and across Africa. He also helped link African leaders with the Congressional Black Caucus to promote Africa's interest in Washington. This next report takes a look at his life and times.
Reverend Jesse Jackson was one of America's most enduring voices for civil rights, justice, and political inclusion. He was born on October 8, 1941 in Greenville, South Carolina, and rose from a segregated society to become one of the most recognizable voices of the civil rights movement. A close associate of Martin Luther King Jr., he was actively involved in the activism of the 1960s, organizing protests, advocating voting rights, and pushing for economic justice for marginalized communities. After Dr. King's assassination, Jackson carried the torch forward. Through Operation Push and later the Rainbow Coalition, he built bridges across race, class, and faith. His presidential campaigns in 1984 and 1988 broke barriers, expanding political participation for minorities and reshaping America's democratic landscape. Though he did not win the presidency, he changed the possibilities of who can aspire to it.
I really do understand. Every one of these funny labels they put on you, those of you who are watching this broadcast tonight in the projects, on the corners, I understand. Call you outcast, low down, you can't make it, you're nothing, you're from nobody, subclass, underclass. When you see Jesse Jackson, when my name goes in nomination, your name goes in nomination. I was born in the slum, but the slum was not born in me. And it wasn't born in you, and you can make it.
Jesse Jackson's activism extended beyond the United States. In the 1990s, during the military rule of General Sani Abacha, he visited Nigeria at an uncertain time. Meeting with emirs and traditional rulers, Jesse Jackson sought dialogue and stability, urging peaceful resolution and respect for democratic principles. His intervention during the Abacha era reflected his long-standing belief in quiet diplomacy. Back home, Jesse Jackson remained a powerful political voice. He was an early and vocal supporter of Barack Obama, seeing in Obama's rise a continuation of the struggle he and others had waged decades earlier.
Well, let's bring in CEO and Case Consulting, Ike Ogbebile. He joins me from Washington, D.C. via Zoom. Good to have you join us, Ike.
Hey, Precious. Thanks for having me.
So, I mean, just an iconic leader he was, from activism to politics. He did really stand out. But everyone seemed to be talking about the time he ran for president in 1984 and 1988. And I'm wondering if you think that he's the president that America never had, the black president America never had.
Well, we know the black president America had. The one America never had, we can never tell. But Jesse Jackson was an icon. Not just an icon for the black race or the black people. He was a political icon. He will always be known as a legend. For lack of a better word, Jesse Jackson is American history. And the reason why I said that is because when he ran what we call a groundbreaking campaign in '84 and '88. Yes, he never won the election, but he created the path 20 years later for the likes of Barack Obama to emerge and eventually win. In the Democratic Party before, it was a question of winner takes all. And when Jesse Jackson ran for political position as president, he raised the highest number of voters ever seen on the political landscape, and then ensured that the Democratic Party were able to then change their position on how they pick their candidate. And it came up with something called the reposition compliance, where everybody is fully represented. And if you notice, when Barack Obama was running, he was behind Hillary Clinton. And eventually he merged after the trip to southern South Carolina. He now became the candidate because of what Jesse Jackson had done 20 years ago. And that's the kind of landscape we're talking about. When we say that he changed the political landscape in America, Reverend Jesse Jackson definitely did more than just running for office. That gave Barack Obama the opportunity to emerge as the presidential candidate for the Democratic Party, and then eventually as the president of America.
And just to buttress what you just said, former President Obama himself did say, that as well in a statement, that Jesse Jackson's 2 historic runs for president had laid the foundation for his own campaign to the highest office of the land. Not just for President Barack Obama now, did he pave the way for other African-American candidates as well at all levels? And just speak to him, more on that influence or his influence in politics in America.
His influence in politics is for the history books. It's for generations to come. Not only did he pave way for President Barack Obama and other politicians of color, but we're talking about minorities, period. His advocacy from the days of working beside Martin Luther King all the way to all he did while he was still active in politics and after he stepped aside. The work of Reverend Jesse Jackson is something that we will continue to talk about and read about in years to come. A lot of us stand today on the shoulders of Reverend Jesse Jackson, and our prayers and condolences go out to his family at this particular time. Precious.
Before he ventured into politics, a lot of people know him, first of all, as someone who has an unwavering commitment to justice, equality, and human rights. He was an activist and fought for human rights. I wanted to also speak to how that helped shape, that global movement for freedom and dignity around the world.
So Jesse Jackson, in his journey, after becoming an activist for human rights, moved into economic empowerment. He moved into, he advocated for even white farmers in Iowa. He advocated for them. Talk about gender equality or inequality. He was an advocate for those people too. He kept on going from pillar to pillar to pillar, creating a change wherever he found injustice in the United States and beyond. As a diplomat, he got involved, just like what your article said, your report was said a few minutes ago. He got involved in now becoming an international diplomat. He fought against apartheid in South Africa. Jesse Jackson was also involved in the release of hostages in Iran, in Syria, in Cuba. So this was a giant. This was a powerful figure in the political landscape in the United States that when not just only advocated for Black people, but now spoke against injustice everywhere in the world, literally everywhere in the world. And he gave people a lot of hope. And that is the hope that the likes of President Barack Obama and those who are actually actively involved in politics today have gotten involved more in politics. If you look at the political landscape in America, it's so diverse.
Absolutely,
so diverse.
absolutely.
And it's the work of Jesse Jackson. Yeah.
And I also remember that, he was the go-to for political endorsement within the Democratic Party. When he endorses you, it does carry a lot of weight. And that was before even the President Obama came into office. And then he was also someone who was very careful with his endorsement. And so perhaps why it had a lot of weight. One of the pictures that has stayed with a lot of people is how he cried during the inauguration of President Barack Obama, the very first one. And so I'm wondering what sort of vacuum that he now leaves behind, not just within the Democratic Party, but in the U.S. as a whole.
Well, there would never be another Jesse Jackson, the same way there was never another Martin Luther King Jr. But the good thing about nature and life itself is that when that vacuum is created, other people will step in and and continue to run the race. You see, this is a race for generations to come, right? And so great men have come before Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson has run his own race. He has handed over that baton and that inspiration to different politicians of diverse backgrounds who will continue to run the race and hand it over to generations that are about to come. So as a person, we'll always miss him, but what he has given to us as a people is something that will continue to linger on as we stay out here in the United States and beyond the United States, even in Nigeria. Those kind of inspirations are needed hope for good and authentic leaders are required out there at the same time.
Well, I'm particularly, I know that he's going to be remembered in diverse ways, but I'm particularly looking at, waiting for a biopic on him because I don't know how they're going to fit his life into an hour or 2 hour movie.
That would be quite a lot.
It's tough. It's going to be tough.
Do anything.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time, as always.
Thanks for having me, Precious.
CEO and Case Consulting, Iko Gbebule.